Hello, and welcome back to another Sergmanx video. But before we get into today's topic, I have a copy of Trials from Zero, which I am giving away to one of my lucky subscribers. In order to enter, watch my previous video, explains all the rules, the guidelines, and that's how you will be able to possibly win a copy of this game. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so the last couple of days or so I've been in Pennsylvania, and while I was over there, picked up some games, so I'm going to go over what I picked up. So we'll start off with the stack of 3DS games I have here. And the first one is a game I had no interest in when it came out originally, and that is Codename Steam. I was not paying full price for this game. Now I got it for $7. Apparently it's a strategy game in which you play as the founding fathers of this country, America, and Abraham Lincoln. I see him on the back of the box. So, and I guess you can play as Fire Emblem characters if you have their amiibo, but I do not. So, figure with $7, it's worth it to give it a shot. So we'll see if the game is pretty good, in my opinion. We'll find out. Next up, I love Dragon Ball Z games. Surprised I never picked this one up. I actually never even heard of this game. We have, I'm going to probably butcher the name, but here we go. Dragon Ball Z Extreme Budoden. I probably said that wrong, so my apologies. But it's a 2D fighting game, and according to the back of the box, it features over 100 characters from the Dragon Ball Z universe. Now, is 100 characters playable? Not sure. That could be relegated to like cameos and whatnot. That equals 100 characters because it doesn't say playable characters. But I'm expecting a good amount, so looking forward to giving this one a try. I really haven't played a god-awful DBZ game, so I'm expecting decent things from this one. Now, here's a game I can't believe I never even picked up because I've played all these Mario games. And we have New Super Mario Bros. 2. Yeah, I guess the gimmick with this game is, besides it being, classic 2D Mario, you collect coins upon coins upon coins, become Golden Mario, and stuff happens. I don't know. But, I mean, it's a solid game, despite the New Super Mario Bros. Games being a little stale. I think the presentation's a little boring, but gameplay is still solid. I haven't really heard too much about the second game in comparison to the other 3 games that came out. But I've been playing a bunch of New Super Mario Bros. U on the Switch, and I just finished that and the New Super Luigi Bros. Or actually, there's no Bros in that one. But I beat that one, so I think now's the perfect time to dive into this one. Alright. I have a single Super Nintendo game here, but this is actually a reproduction copy of Breath of Fire 2. And as far as I know, based on my research, the translation has been changed on this. I'm not sure if any other quality of life features have been added to this classic turn-based RPG. But I will play it and see, because getting a copy of this, it's pretty expensive, so I never owned it. So I guess the remastered version is a good way to play it. But I do like the Breath of Fire series. Alright. Got a couple PS1 games here. First up, we have A Bug's Life. I played this when I was younger. It's a 3D platformer based on the movie of the same name. And I remember enjoying it, but that was years upon years ago. So I'll see how my opinion holds up today. Next, we have Tetris Plus, which brings Tetris goodness to the PS1. And there seems to be a variety of different modes on here, including creating your own puzzles in edit mode. So, okay. I mean, you can't go wrong with Tetris. I haven't played a bad version of Tetris yet. Although Tetris DS is still my probably favorite version of Tetris. And then next up, a game I used to see advertised a lot in gaming magazines when I was younger, with Frogger. It's the classic game where you hop across the road, try to avoid cars and trucks and whatnot, but with this version, it looks like they added a bit more to it than the simple premise of Frogger. Apparently 9 unique worlds, 4 players, and the 3D graphics, so looking forward to trying this one out. Next, got a couple of other PlayStation games. We'll start with Mirror's Edge on the PS3, a game that I played the crap out of the demo. I just like the hybrid of parkour, running, and the shooting sections, which I was sad they removed in the sequel. But I think this game did it better. I really quite enjoyed what I played from this game, and looking forward to diving into it. And then we have Monster Hunter Worlds / Iceborne. I never played Worlds, so I believe this version comes with the base game and the expansion. So I really fell in love with this franchise with Monster Hunter Rise. That was like the first one that really clicked with me. And I'm kind of hoping the gameplay here is at least similar to that, because I'm not really a big fan of the older entries of Monster Hunters. I think it's a high learning curve, and I don't really have time to dedicate myself to that these days. But I heard World and was a great game, so I'm looking forward to trying that one out. Next up, a couple of Switch games I got. A game I never even heard of, but I've seen on the shelf. We have a Monkey Barrel, or Barrels, and it's a twin-stick shooter made by Goodfield, which I believe they did Kirby's Epic Yarn and some of those Yoshi games that have come out on consoles over the last couple of years. And immediately I thought of Enter the Gungeon. 98 crazy weapons. I mean, that sounds crazy. I know Enter the Gungeon had a crap ton of weapons too. This is single player though, but the graphics look nice, and apparently this huge boss fight, so we'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to trying this one out. Alright, we have a turn-based strategy game here with Into the Breach, a game I've been wanting to try for years, and I thought I missed out on my chance on a physical copy, but luckily the store had it, so I'm like, I gotta get this. There's no excuse. So, really looking forward to playing Into the Breach. Heard nothing but great things about it, and the gameplay looks fantastic. Alright. We have a Zelda... I don't even want to say clone, because I feel like it's a blatant ripoff, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. So, right away, the game gives you a Link to the Past vibes. If I didn't know better, if I just looked through a screenshot real quick, I would confuse the game. But, you know, Nintendo's not really making 2D Zelda games aside from their Link's Awakening remake, but that went for a more like toy-like art style. This is a 16-bit Zelda-like, so definitely looking forward to playing more of this. Played a little bit of it, and yes, it literally feels like Link to the Past. So I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, and the story seems to be, I guess, compared to like Link to the Past, the story is a bigger focus on here. I don't want to spoil it in case you want to give it a try, but so far so good. And last but not least, finally, Persona 5 Royal on the Switch. So I remember when Persona 5 came out on the PS4, I got it day one, and it took me 2 years to beat the game. So right around the time I finished it, finally, Persona 5 Royal was coming out like really soon, so there was no way I was gonna dive into that game because I already felt burnt out. Definitely one of the greatest RPGs of all time. Played a little bit of this so far, and I already noticed a bunch of differences within the first 2 hours in compared to the vanilla version. But no excuse now, this thing's on everything, so check it out and see what you think, because this is obviously, you know, loved by plenty of people. I think this game really brought in a new fan base, and I can't sing praises enough for this game. It's really good. Last but not least, I have a Sega Saturn here that I got from a trade with my good buddy Scorpio Cesar. gave him a Super Nintendo and hooked me up with the Sega Saturn, finally. Because I've had this game for years, Sonic 3D Blast, and I haven't been able to play it because I didn't have the console. And I think it's a good version of the game. Obviously the graphics are better than the Genesis version, and the music is better quality, but I think the Genesis version slaps. It's like, that's a good soundtrack. Rusty Ruin, you can't compare it to the Sega Saturn version. The Genesis version is it's amazing. But I will say the special stages in the Saturn version, way better than the Genesis one. Those were trash, but so far it's so good. It's basically the same game with some minor differences, but looking forward to getting more games for the Sega Saturn, and I can't believe it took me this long to own one. But I know, like, there's a bunch of Japanese games I want to play, because trying to get, like, versions of games over here is, like, next to impossible, because they're, like, super expensive when I can get the same games in Japan for a little bit cheaper, but obviously the language barrier is going to be there. But looking forward to expanding my collection on this thing. So thanks again, Scorpio Cesar, for the trade. I appreciate it. And with that, this has been another Sergmanx video. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Peace. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and comment below your thoughts on today's topic. Please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell to be notified when the next Sergmanx video drops. Have a good one.